Alright guys, so this is the Hydra video for the clans. Nothing major, nothing massive, nothing difficult. Very, very basic Hydra strategies, okay? Very basic. I'm talking, we're working on normal hard Hydra, right? Like that's where we're focusing this video. Later on we can get more in-depth, detailed tips and tricks for covering the big things. You can see on my screen, see what I have open, just looking at the Hydra roster real quick. To show you that I do know what I'm talking about. I do have 370 million as my nightmare personal best for Hydra. I do know something about Hydra. Not everything, obviously, but I know a good amount. I can help a lot. So you don't have to worry about looking at my roster and going, oh my gosh, I don't have your champions. Yes, that's completely fine. We're going to work on getting you there, right? You don't have to have the best champions, the most broken things on the planet. I'm going to show you some strategies to help you through it, okay? First things first, look at the heads and learn what the heads do. There are 6 heads, 4 of them you fight, 2 of them can transfer in. The lower you get in difficulty, sorry, the music's really loud. The lower you get in the difficulty, the less chance there are of the heads changing. So you can build a team that's more set up for the heads you're looking at. If you're fighting normal, the heads never swap. They're like 1 in a million chance that they switch to these other 2 heads. If you're fighting Nightmare, it's like every time they switch, and so it's just real annoying to have a more rounded team the higher you go. So for the basics, very, very simple stuff. You're fighting normal hard Hydra, right? Just trying to top chest. I always recommend building one team, one main team. If you can top chest normal, great. If you can double the normal top chest, which is 6.6 million, so if you get 13 million or more on normal, that same team should move up into hard and see if you can top chest there. If you don't top chest, don't save your key. It's very unlikely that it's worth it. The only way that's worth it is if you're doing it in the last 20 minutes of the clash being open and you're just trying to get some points. Like, there you go. Okay, sure. But, okay, now that I'm thinking about it, let's walk through what the heads do, okay? 6 heads. Anybody guess what they are? What they do? I was sitting here trying to think of the names. It's really difficult to come up with all these names. The 2 main heads that you want to worry about, I'm going to say 2. There's 3 really. The Head of Mischief, which is this head here. The Head of Mischief is the one that can steal your buffs. Okay? Super annoying head. It steals your buffs, and then it spreads them to the team, so all the Hydra heads have all your buffs. It's the worst head, in my opinion. Worst head to deal with. Most annoying head. Not hard to deal with, because it is the head that if it's out there, you should be focusing it, because it has the lowest defense stats. So it's the easiest head to kill, but it is also the most annoying head. The issue with this head is that it has a passive that you have a 1 in 4 chance of actually hitting this head if you try to target it without a hex debuff on it. Okay, there are ways around it. You can use only AoE teams. That's not a big challenge. Then you don't have to worry about hex because everything is AoE and you kill them anyways. Now, hex is still really good for Hydra, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Hex will spread the damage that you do. So if I have hex on all the heads, and I do damage to one head, the damage also is spread, not full damage, right? But a percentage of that damage is spread to the other heads. I can show you that when we do a run in 5 minutes here. A minute or 2, probably, actually. So Hex is still very good, even if you have an AoE team. Hex will increase your damage a lot. You'll see some of the runs that come out, and you'll look at your Hexer, and you're like, how did they do 5 million damage or 20 million damage? And you're like, oh, they weren't actually doing it, but because they put the Hex out, now it hits the team, right? Now it hits everybody, and it does a lot of damage. And that credit is given to your Hexer, which is silly, but it works. So, Hex. Hex is number 1. Number 1 debuff I want in every Hydra team I have. So you're looking at things like Mithrala if you've already been doing some Hydra battles and you have Mithrala. Amazing, right? Things like, I have Tila. Tila works that way. Akemptum is a favorite of mine just because he can put out a bunch of Hex and he can keep it out there, right? Let's see, what else do we have? I'm sitting here thinking about my champs. Trying to think of what else we have that would work. If you have Archer Queen, you could use Archer Queen. She's kind of ridiculous. Not everybody has her, right? If you have Skorg, you could use Skorg. There's a couple of champions here, a couple options. If you don't have Hex, like I said, it's not the worst thing. It's not the biggest deal, but it is a very nice debuff to have. It's one of those that you would like to have because you want to always be focusing down this head. So for this team that we're just going to put together and run, this is just hard Hydra. We're just going to try to put together a random team. I want Hex. I want a Kemptum. There's my Hexer. Nice and easy. Okay, so now we can hide this. We can reset these filters and move on. Okay, so we've talked about Hex. We've talked about the head of Mischief. Mischief, head, Hex. Mischief and Hex. Just think about it that way. When we get in the game, I'll point out which head, and I can tell you a better way to see them and know which head is which. Because if you're just looking at these, you can't tell me which one's which. I know I can't tell you which one's which. I had to look them up in the beginning of this video. I was like, yep, I'm going through here making sure I know the exact name of the head. I can't tell you. I can tell you in-game because I can tell you from what their abilities look like. It's the only way I can tell. So we have a Kemptum for the Hex for that head. Next head, the head of Decay. Yeah, the head of Decay. This is the head that will cleanse all the other heads. Alright, this yellow ability here removes all debuffs from all heads and fills their turn meter. Very, very annoying when you're just putting out your debuffs, you're just getting there and you're like, this is great. And then you're like, nope, because there's the cleanse, right? So we know the cleanse is annoying to deal with. We're going to fix that. This is the only Hydra head that can be provoked. That's how you get around this cleanse. This guy cannot do his cleanse, nor his other cleanse, the single target cleanse. He cannot do either one of these abilities if he's provoked. That's why you'll see a lot of Hydra teams have provokes on them, right? So if I'm going in here, I'm going to go look at my little, what do you call this? A bull with horns, I guess? Anyway, the provoke debuff, right? Obviously, I've used my best two provokers on my other two keys. It happens. I'm going to run Visix, super good. You get her for free, super useful. She has decreased speed, which you always want because it's a really good debuff to have. In essence, if you decrease their speed and you increase yours, you're going twice as fast as they are. Boom, now you have just a crap ton of extra damage, right? So we're going to go Visix for the provoke. I will sometimes tell you to go 2 provokes. My first team that I had like a good top chest, it was like hard and I think I did like 100 million damage. I had 2 provokers on that team because I just couldn't figure out a way around it. So we'll try it. I have Frenzy the Crackler. She's not great, but she is sitting in the gear that I'm going to have Marius in. So she's got some great gear on her just for sake of the video for me. We're going to have 2 provokers. All right, so we have 2 provokers. Great. Now what do we do? Well, we've talked about provoke and we've talked about hex. The third debuff, and I know everybody in the clan knows this because I've been talking about it for forever, block buffs. The block buffs debuff is amazing in Hydra. It looks like this. It's like this stone wall with 8 wings. Okay. The reason you want block buffs is because A, the head of Mischief, when it steals your buffs, if it does steal your buffs and it has block buffs on it, obviously it doesn't get any buffs. So there you go. Now you're cutting out the head of Mischief already. Again, great. Wonderful thing to have. The second thing, there is the head of Blight, which is the poison head is what I call it. It's all green. All of its abilities are green, right? It's this triple green head here. So I always just look at the color of the abilities, guys. It's triple green, that's a poison head. Alright, if you got yellow and pink, that's the cleansing head. Gotta provoke it. I'm thinking pink, provoke, PP, whatever. That's how I think about that. Pink, you gotta provoke it, right? The head of Mischief is the other annoying head. This head I can just tell by what it looks in game, but it is pink, green, pink. I know it's pink, green, pink. I know that's like, it's always gonna show me that same coloring. I'm like, okay, pink, green, pink, it's 3, I gotta do hex. It's hex. You'll understand when you see it in game. It's hex. This is Hex City, okay? Hex and block debuffs, I guess. So for a lot of people, they have Ugo. I don't have my Master Vault open here. Okay. So I've used 1 Ugo already. I have literally built 2 for this reason. Ugo's very good. You could use somebody like Loki. Loki doesn't do it great. Not exactly the best champion for it. If you have a Wallmaster Thorian, obviously you can use him. Massive damage dealer and block buffs. You could look at somebody like a Lady Kimmy if you were lucky. If you're unlucky, Fennex can do it, not as well as you would want. So there is kind of a challenge there. You can get away with doing Wukong because you'll always get him back. He'll just keep reviving himself. So he's really just there to put out the block buffs. Most people have Wukong and most people have him built for Arena, so there's a good chance he can still do decent Hydra damage, right? Obviously it's not going to be great, but if you have a High Awakening and a Smite debuff can do a lot. You know, the Brimstone debuff can do a lot. So I'm going to use Ugo for this example, just because I think Ugo is the best overall block buffs champion. Most people can get her pretty easily, and the people who have her obviously built her. So now we're looking at this and we're like, okay, what am I missing? Well, I don't have any real revives. I have Ugo, I guess, as a reviver, kinda. I have Frenzy, who provides a lot of HP burns, but not really much else. So I'm looking that I need either, you can go down the rabbit hole of, if you have HP burns in your team like I do, that I can go 1 healer reviver and 1 DPS, or you can go 2 more DPS. And just know that if you get killed, you're going to have a hard time. Right? So it's more about keeping your team alive. So I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go 2 DPS, I think. We'll see what I have open. I don't really think I have a whole lot of things open. So, you know. So good options, obviously Husk is great. Geomancer is okay at the lower levels. The farther up you get, it's harder to keep him alive, harder for him to do good damage. I still have a Newt open, so I guess I'll run a Newt because 'tis Newt. If you have Newt, great. If you don't worry. Damage dealers can be a lot of different things. There's a dime a dozen damage dealers. You can look it up. Damage dealers for Hydra, there's a million of them. You can run things like a Whisper if you want, right? Like Whisper's really good. I don't know. I thought I had a better Whisper than that, but maybe sitting in the Master Vault. Nope, this is my better Whisper. Noted. So for a starting team, I'm not going to use Newt because I don't want to overload on whale stuff, right? So we're going to assume, you know, this is obviously 3 Void Champions. It's kind of difficult to do. You don't need the second Provoker if you don't want it. It's just very helpful, right? And you'll see when we get into game what I'm talking about here. So what do we want to run as the other damage dealer? I'm going to run... this is annoying because I don't really know what I want to run. Do I have Weaken anywhere? No, I don't. Okay. I want a Weaken to help my Whisper. The other thing is that when you guys get the new fusion, that'll be really easy to help set up the Whisper. If you're running a Whisper with them. Like, I think Whisper and that champion are going to be great. I was looking for a damage dealer that does Weaken. I guess we could go here. That's a little overkill. It's too much overkill. Alright, we'll just go with the Geo. We'll just prove a point. We'll see what we can do. I don't know that this team's going to do great because I don't know what kind of gears on these people, but we'll test it out. So when you get in Hydra, this is all you're going to run into. This looks ridiculous. What you can do is you can run on auto and you can click on the heads and it will give you, if you do this, right? It'll give you this red marker underneath them that shows you that you're going to attack that head. So this head is provoked. He didn't get the cleanse off because he was provoked. Right? We talked about that head being the cleansing head. So this is your poison head that we talked about with the poison cloud. The block buffs blocks the poison cloud. Now obviously this head didn't get block buffs, so now it's got this poison cloud. It's really hard to try to place debuffs on it. It's really hard to do damage to it. It's really annoying. So this head, I said, what did we say? Green, pink. Hex. Hex is the name of the game on that one. Apparently my Akemtum doesn't have some gear or is probably missing gear, and that's why he's so slow. So we'll see. So this is the main focus of Hydra, the main starting point, right? Everybody gets to the starting point, and everybody has to work through it, right? You look at your team, see what you can find. We didn't even talk about the Head of Wrath. We haven't talked about the Head of Torment. The Head of Wrath is this one on the right. It's got the number that stacks up to 15 after it takes 15 hits of damage. So if you have like multi-hit abilities, they're going to stack it up faster. When it takes 15 hits of damage, it's going to retaliate and do a bunch of damage to your team. The ways around that are you can stack shields or buffs like increased defense, strengthen shields, all those things, right? And you can try to save yourself that way. The nice part about block buffs is the block buffs on this head, if you don't have block buffs, he puts increased attack on himself and does a way more damage. So the block buffs is also really good against his head. So for this specific rotation of Hydra, Hex is very, very good. Or Hex, block debuffs is very, very good, right? So we're just going to go in and we're going to just see what we can do for damage. Not a whole lot. It is Whisper though, so she's going to get extra turns because it's Whisper. And you're just looking to, like I said before, this Head of Mischief has the lowest defense stats. It's the easiest head to kill, air quotes, easiest. None of the heads are easy, but it's the easiest head to kill, and so if you can, that's going to be the head you want to get down. If you're just starting into Hydra, what you want to do, obviously, I don't have enough healing in this team to keep the team alive. Partially my fault. And also, I didn't provoke that head. So let's regroup this, and let's try that again. Because I don't know where I got the first set of provoke. Oh, from Frenzy. Got it. And then she, you know, Visix, in theory, wouldn't use her provoke because the head is already provoked, right? That's the in theory. Yeah, so yeah, I can do decrease speed, give us some more speed while turning, because I'm making them slower, right? I shouldn't have done that. I should have used my A1 there. That's okay. So there you go. This Head of Mischief tried to steal my buffs. It did steal my buffs off of Frenzy, but because it has block buffs, it can't get anything out of it. So it's like, ah, there you go. You're screwed. Thank you for playing. That's what that's telling you. So we're just going to, again, soak as much damage as we can into one head. If you're doing this on normal or hard, I would always recommend the easiest way to get your top chest. Work on getting one head down if you can, make it the Head of Mischief. Because obviously, we said before, lowest defense. The Head of Mischief, this green, or pink, green, pink, this head should be the one you want dead. Once you get it down, focus all of your energy into putting every damage you can into that head. Because with the heads that are cut off are the heads that are the ones that are going to take a lot of damage, and they're going to really help you stack that counter. So this is why when you see things like the Trunda teams that put up 1 billion damage or whatever in a turn, and you're like, how the hell did that happen? Well, they did that because they knocked all 4 heads down and then did a massive nuke to those heads. That's how that works. I don't have Trunda, I can't do that team. It's really unfortunate. But we can make it work other ways, right? So we're just going to keep our rotation going here. We're going to decrease their speed because I don't have any provoke. Oh, but look at that. Frenzy's now back with her provoke. This head still doesn't get to cleanse. Good, we like that. Get a little heal off. Okay, we're keeping the team alive a little bit better this time. This isn't off affinity for Geomancer, so it's hard to kill that head. But there the head goes. Alright, so that head's dead. Wonderful. Now we're going to try to put some debuffs on it. Try to just keep it going. See how much damage we can do while it's decayed. This doesn't work as well since the nerfs, but to Hydra. But it still works, right? So we're just going to soak some damage into it. Much damage as you can put in. And we're going to basically hit this cap by accident, right? Like, hard is what? Like 20 million, I think? We might not hit it because I don't have enough longevity to it. But we are getting very good damage once we get a head down, right? We're getting decent chunks. Again, this team is not my best team, not my best gear. This is what people can run. This is probably what people can do. And when you min-max, when you play around with it, you can do a lot of damage, you know? It's just about finding which champions you have and which gear you want on them. Recommendations that I have for Hydra, for gear anyways, you want to look at somewhere over 300 accuracy if you're trying to place a debuff, because you're going to need accuracy. The higher you go up, add like 50 to 100 for every level you're going up. So if you're doing normal Hydra, 300 accuracy is plenty. If you're doing Nightmare Hydra, you want 400 to 500. Is kind of the number you're aiming to get to, right? Now those are by no means exact sciences. You will place debuffs without it, and you will get some debuffs resisted, because just the way life works. So this part, I was trying to get to this part so we could talk about the next phase of the Hydra battles. The Hydra will eventually, and periodically, eat your champions. Okay? That's what's happened here. This champion is swallowed. I have 5 turns which I guess I probably should try doing this. That's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Alright, it's not pulling up my game, but you can see the green bar here. That means my champion's been eaten, and I need to free this champion. Luckily, I have decreased defense up. I have chances to get there and do damage, right? I should be able to get this one back. I should be able to get Geomancer out of here, in theory. Now, you'll see as the fight goes on, this is 5 turns currently for the first time your champion gets eaten. Every time after that, it keeps going down until it's 2 turns. At 2 turns, that's what it stays for the rest of the game, for the rest of the Hydra battle. But 2 turns goes really quickly when you have certain heads that take extra turns, and you're like, well, there goes my champion. Once your champion is swallowed, you can't get your champion back, in case you were curious and you were wondering, why can't I revive that guy? That's why, because you can't get him back. It's just, you're effed. You're out of luck. So you will notice that this head here, once we killed the Hex head, the Mischief head, this head became a different head, because we're fighting hard and not normal. So it's just one of those things that we kind of didn't plan for this head. We kind of really don't have a way to deal with this head, so, oh well, we're just going to work through it. And I mean, this run's going to fail pretty quickly here because I don't have enough longevity to keep it going. I don't have enough speed on my Ugo, or gear probably at all, actually. And I don't have enough speed or healing to keep my other tanks alive. So, this is what everybody should start with. You know, you get to this point and you get a little frustrated and you're like, man, I can't hit top chest. Well, guess what? This is a team that really shouldn't be doing Hydra hard anyways, because it's not really my best team. It's not really my best gear. If this was a normal team, we've already hit our cap, right? We've already hit our top chest that we want. And so it's like, this is what you're looking at when you're looking at teams of, what can I do? And then know that you're setting your expectations down for the other ones, right? 10.38 million, that's probably not enough for me or my clan. But if we look at Nightmare, I mean, I did 339 million to Nightmare. So it's like, I have teams that can do stuff. This is my 3rd final team because I forgot to make this video earlier in the week. So I'm sorry, that's my fault for failing. I will show you, this is the team that I have for this setup that I have built. Like, this is the team that's built that's probably going to top chest. So yeah, this uses a newt. A little bit whaley. It uses a husk that's +4, which is a little whaley. You don't need these options, they just make it easier, right? So top chest on hard is 20 million, like we said. And if we look at this team, what does this team have, right? Hex, lock debuffs, provoke number 1, Husk on his A1 has a provoke as well, so there's provoke number 2. Husk and Newt are my damage dealers, so I have 2 DPS, and I have a healer. And Reviver. High Mother mod is free, you get her from the fragments, that does take a while to get to. You could replace this with an Arbiter, you could replace this with a Pytheon, you could replace this with any AoE healer Reviver. Anything you want down that line, right? So we're just going to quick battle this one and just see what this does. 5 million, obviously that's not enough. So we're just going to go back, watch it go through. Now the reason that only did 5 million is because I can't, in the auto battle, I can't tell it to try to provoke that head, right? So here now we have the provoke, we're good. That would have been another provoke from Husk, so we're good there. So now that I know this head is getting provoked, we're good. Once I see Husk do another one, well, never mind. It had the poison clouds. Now we're not going to get a provoke off that head, so it's going to get cleansed. Slightly unfortunate, but not the end of the world, right? So, as you can see, this team may not even do it either. I might just have to manual this run. Don't be afraid to manual, guys. I know it takes time, but that's the way you get better at learning what the Hydra does and which heads you're looking for. As I've told you, the best spot to start is the Head of Mischief. If you see it out there, that's the head you want to kill. Because right there, it just took my took my counterattack off of my newt, and it's going to spread that, and that is going to be a bad day for me when that gets spread around, because everybody's going to have it, and that's going to be real annoying to deal with. Just wait and watch, because this is right there. Now it's gotten spread. What am I supposed to do to that? I need some way to take that off. I only have High Mother mod that can do it. Right there, she took off a couple of them. So there's a, yeah, this is one of those things. Every Hydra battle is never guaranteed. My top team, you know, you saw it. It was, I've hit 370 million. I did 330 this time, and I'm like, you know what? Okay, we're just gonna run with it. So I hope this is a good starter. It helps. I hope it helps you just a little bit, just to give you something, food for thought to think about for later. Obviously, if you guys like this, I'll do more of these. You know, I'll dig into those final 2 heads. We haven't talked about Torment, which is the fear head. Kind of annoying, but there's a lot of ways around that. And we haven't talked about Head of Suffering. That's the other head. That's the head that will take multiple turns, and so if it eats your champions, you're going to lose your champions really quickly, because that one's going to chew through those turns quicker. But don't worry, these are all things for those are the heads kind of for later game. Like these, the main heads that you want to worry about are the head of Decay. I can't think of it. Head of Decay, which is the head you need to provoke. The head of Mischief, which is the head you want to block debuffs and you want Hex for. And then the Poison Cloud head, which is the triple green head at the top. That's the Poison Cloud. That's the one that's going to be real annoying to deal with. And I mean, we're already in the annoying to deal with section, because I've lost some champs and this is already going to be a fun game. So I'm going to keep going, try to figure out a good team to set this up. But obviously it's not going to be this team, or we're going to have to do some more extra work. It's not the biggest deal. I just probably will switch Husk for Whisper, most likely. That'll probably do more damage than what Husk is doing currently. I don't have him built very well. I'm sorry this video got long. You can feel free to skip around and play back, you know, jump, either way. But alright, thank you guys. Like I said, if you need anything, you can always DM me. I'm in the clan Discord, even though I don't have an account in the clan currently. Technically. I still run a Menadil's account, so technically I am in the clan. But yes, I'll still be around. If you have any questions, you want to dig into something more, if you want me to help you try to build a team, that's fine too. Just let me know. Hit me up, send me a message, and we'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.